Hi, I'm Liz Holpin from Pinhole Quilting. In this session, I'm going to show how you can stitch edge to edge, going from left to right, stitch a line down and go from right to left. It's a question that's very often asked, particularly when people are new to doing edge to edge, and if they want to maximize the amount of time so that they're not continually rolling on. We need to take into account the throat space of the machine. So I'm assuming an Amara, a 20-inch throat space with a usable depth of 16-inch. But you can adjust it to what you feel comfortable with. At the end of it, you'll need to use an area to remove whatever you don't need of the final rows. And you can see that in other videos. Handyquilter.com have got some on their ProStitcher.com website. So I hope you enjoy this and happy quilting. Okay, so this is ProStitcher, and what I'm going to go through today is how you can put together two lines edge to edge and use it to stitch along from left to right and right to left. So what I'm going to do first of all is pick up a design. It's the Berry Stipple B2B. Think about how much you've got in terms of frame space. So if we look at this design, it's got a height of 12. Now if I've got an Amara, I'm going to lose about 4 inches on the frame space. So what I need to do is first of all set up an area for my quilting space so I can actually see this. I'm in simulation mode, so the crosshairs are green. So let's set up the quilting space. And if I set it up from here, 0, 0. Okay, that's my top left of my quilting space. So I can now see 0, 0. So I got a quilting space and it's approximate 2 corner. Notice that these are truncated. I've moved this over, and if you find that something looks like the text has been incorrectly typed in, you just need to bring this out. It's got a double-headed arrow, so you can adjust the size of this right-hand column. So say I've got a, let's go down a bit. I've got 16 inches to play with, so go down to 16 and all the way across to, let's say, let's say 40 inches. So 16 by 40, 2 corner. So here's my area that I'm going to quilt within. And so what I need to do is modify this design by resizing it. And if I lock both aspects, it'll size it so that everything stays in the same shape. So I want to change this to 8 high. And now I can use that in, and I'm going to save that. File, save, selected as my base. So here we go. I can call this in my own folder, Berry Stipple B2B. Yeah, B2B. I'm going to call that 8 high. Now, if I put that into here, I will be able to see what it looks like. I could create an area within that which I'm going to sew in. So if we go to area, I can go to 2 point, go back to my simulate, and so I'm going to quilt just within the area into what will be my wadding. That's what I've got on in the black square is the max rectangle is the maximum, but my actual quilt is going to go, or the lines of it rather, are going to go, and I'm going to repeat these 2 lines all the way down, and then for the final row of 2 lines, I'm going to truncate it by using another area and remove what I don't need to stitch. So if we now go to repeat, and I just go and basically increase this until it's within that area, I go select and just move it so that it's coming off either side and it's within my area. I could do stretch, but I don't want it to stretch in that direction, just in the horizontal. Or I can go modify, crop, outside, and now I'm left with, if I do the edges, I'm now left with I can basically repeat down the quilt. So let's save that. File, save, selected. And I'm going to call this, I don't want to save it as a workspace. And the reason why it's come up as a workspace only is I didn't baseline it. Now I've baselined it, I can actually save that selected, and I can save it as a design. Another interesting fact. So if you haven't baselined, you can't save just the design. It'll save both the design and the area. So I'm going to call that line 1. Now for the next line, I want to have the stitching going that way on this line, and then down, and I'll do that separate line as a freehand line using Pro Stitcher mark. But for this second line, I'm going to go File, Edit, Duplicate. It's now repeated it. I can pop that down below, but I want to change the start and end point. So I'm just going to move it until it's in position to where I think it will look good. Slightly embedded. I could align it, modify, align to the left horizontally, and that will now fit beautifully. If I zoom in, I can have a look and see what the alignment looks like. That looks okay. So let's just zoom back out. I'm going to baseline that before I swap the endpoints, and then I'm going to baseline it again, and I'm going to save it as line 2. So the next thing to do is to produce a line that goes down here. So let's just zoom into this side here, and I need to see where the start and end point is. Let's just select this one. So the end point is here, and the start point is there. Oops, there. So it's a line that goes from there to there. That's what I'm going to draw next. So unselect, go to Pro Stitcher, go to Record, where you'll also find the mark. So if we just move up a fraction, I'm going to zoom into this point here. Whoops, I wasn't in zoom. Edit, undo. Go into zoom. Right, Pro Stitcher, Record, and I need to move my crosshairs to here. Move your handlebars when you're using the machine. And I'm going to do mark. Now I'll go down to the final bit will be at the bottom here. So when we're in Simulate, I can just bring my crosshairs or your handlebars to there and press mark. So now I've got a line that goes from there to there. Again, baseline, save it. And we're going to save that as freehand line. Save that. I'll overwrite the existing file because I was playing with that. So now what we need to do is select in turn. So select none. And then I'm going to select in turn this one. And then the freehand line. You see it's now created a group. It starts here and ends here. And now line 3. So it will sew along, down and back. File, right, baseline that and save selected. Merge group 32, I'm going to call that bury 2 lines at a time, 16 high. I could of course scale it if I wanted to, but now I've got that, so I can go to Pro Stitcher, Quilt, Run, Proceed. Let me pause that and cancel. It's very slow. Right, go Simulate. Move your needle close to the start position. Go to Pro Stitcher, Run, and Proceed. And now it will move to the start point and it'll start stitching out. So in summary, what we've done is we've created 2 lines, customized the size of the throat space that you want, where it will stitch edge to edge and it will go from left to right. It will stitch down at the end and then stitch from right to left, and it'll finish over here. And what you can then do is just reposition. If you know the distance here, and you could also use a reposition using drag and drop to the previous line so that you can actually get your next position line in. Okay, so I hope that's been helpful, and if you've got any questions you can post them on our YouTube channel, and don't forget to subscribe.